Hi, everyone, and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This reading is a love reading intended for the sign of Aquarius. If you're watching for an Aquarius, please just reverse the roles because it'll feel as though I'm speaking to you about your Aquarius. So I have shuffled the deck. I've pulled your cards. I'm just taking a look at the bottom of the deck to see what's been going on since the last time I spoke with all of you. All right. I'm seeing something not working out in your past, and then it looks like you were avoiding love for a while. But what I'm feeling from this is that there's one particular person. It's whoever this is that this didn't work out with. Could be the mother or father of your children, or just a person that you like really connected to that you thought you would spend the rest of your life with. It feels like when this didn't work, you were in a lot of like regret for choosing this person. That's kind of weird, but that's what I'm seeing is like you built something with this person, and then it's almost like as time went on, you learned more about who they were, is what I'm seeing here. This isn't something that you were aware of, or if you were aware of whatever this person's deal was, it's like you didn't know how much it would affect the relationship at the time. So it seems like maybe this person misrepresented whatever this problem was that they were going through or that they had. Could have been an addiction, could have been a commitment to someone else. But it could also be like baggage. Like it could have been that they were in a relationship that they ended up like getting a divorce, or that they had their heart broken if they weren't married. And so they developed like some trauma around that they weren't dealing with. And so I feel like maybe they told you about it, and maybe they use like some kind of substance to cope with what they're feeling. And at the time, maybe you looked at it like, okay, they've been apart from whoever this is for so long that maybe the only reason they feel the way they feel is because I'm the relationship they're having after this situation. And as I show up for them, they're going to move past this feeling, right? Like they're going to eventually get it together. They're going to be more present in the connection. They need someone to show them that there are like people out there that are a safe space. They need somebody to like love them properly, right? And I think because whatever it is that they are like upset about, it could be something that happened to them when they were young. Could be issues they have with their parent. It looks like a mother figure or the mother of their children. But whatever this is, like I was saying, it was so long ago, right? That you kind of just assumed like, okay, you know, it makes sense that they're upset or they're bitter, or they like replay these situations in their mind because they don't have something new to look forward to, or they don't have an example of like what a good relationship is, you know? So even though I'm seeing these red flags, I'm seeing that this person seems kind of stuck in the past, I'm confident that I can pull them out of this if I love them properly, right? If I like give them the example of like what a good kid's mom looks like versus like the one they had before, or what a stable like lover looks like versus the person who broke their heart, right? The problem here that I'm seeing in this is that the longer you stayed in this situation, the more of yourself you lost. Because this person, it's like they didn't let go of their baggage or their trauma. They didn't try to work through it. They didn't try to meet you at your level. There's an energy of you starting to feel like you were supporting this person, like financially and emotionally, and that they weren't doing the things they needed to do to get their life together, right? Like maybe you had suggested to this person, like once you started to see the magnitude of the situation, maybe you said like, hey, you really need to go to therapy, or you really need to consider going to rehab, because this person, like they aren't growing, they aren't getting better. They just ended up staying where they were, kind of like in this really miserable energy, right? And it's like they're becoming a drain on your emotions. They became a drain on your finances. And I'm seeing you taking kind of a step back from this situation. For some of you, your person like did end up going to therapy or did end up going to rehab. But it looks like you've been on a break from this person because of the way that they're making you feel, right? Like you were kind of tapped out of like resources. Like I don't have it to keep giving to this person. Like I've shown them everything I can show them about love, about like being generous, about being kind, and they don't seem to be getting with the program. Like I can't heal this person. This person doesn't seem like they want to heal. It doesn't seem like they want to get better. But the longer I stay here, the more I feel used, the more I feel as though I need to start being protective of myself, right? So I'm seeing there be distance, and you're ending this bottom spread on the 9 of Wands, which is showing me that you're still attached to this person somehow. And you're tired, right? You might not be like talking to this person every day, but if you share children or like say you had a place together and then one of you like exited, you could still like have them on the lease. There's something here where it's like you still are trying to manage this connection even if you're not in it, right? Like there's a reason that you still feel compelled to speak to this person. It could be like for the kids or whatever, right? I'm seeing you starting your spread with the 8 of Pentacles. So it looks like you're both making a joint effort to put in work. The hard part is it's like this person, they took a lot from you and they gave you very little, right? And so in your separation, you came to the conclusion that you needed to like guard your finances and your emotions and your energy. And this person, they don't know how to like cultivate things for themselves because what they're dealing with, like their baggage, keeps them from having abundance. Like they allow whatever it is that's going on with them to run the show so completely that they're not able to like make moves, right? So like say for example, they have kids with someone else, whether or not that person is like in a relationship with the kid's mom, kid's dad, whoever, they allow that person to be their reason why they can't move, they can't cultivate something new, they can't go after that job, they can't, you get what I'm saying? Like this person, whatever their baggage is like so deeply ingrained in every thought, every action, like every day of their life. They keep that with them so close that it takes them away from like any prosperity they could have. So while you've been apart, they haven't really done anything. You know what I mean? Like they sat in that same sad energy, and if anything, it kind of compounded because you were their source of energy. You were kind of their supply in life. And so without you, and then not having the ability to like move, you know, this is somebody who just, they live whatever this bad thing was that happened to them or whatever this bad day was that happened, like they just live it over and over. And that's their reason, you know, that's the reason why they can't keep a job. That's the reason why they can't excel in whatever, anything they try to do, whether it's like, oh, I'm going to do this training program, I'm going to get my master's, I'm going to, like, it always falls apart for this person because they're so locked into like whatever this belief is that they've gotten from this situation that happened so long ago, that it gets destroyed, right? It's like, I don't know if this person gets paralyzed when things start going good and they stop showing up. It seems like maybe they just believe that good things aren't attainable for them. And the hard part about that is like when someone has a belief like that, it becomes such a self-fulfilling prophecy that they actually will start to take action to prove that belief right, you know? So as I'm moving into your spread, what I'm seeing is like you both kind of coming back to the table to figure out what is going to happen next, right? Like maybe what does a custody arrangement look like, or what have you done in the time we've been apart to try to work on some of these things, right? You're trying to ascertain like where are they at, what have they been able to accomplish, and I think that when you're seeing this person, because Queen of Wands is what's coming towards you, you're feeling really good about your own achievements, right? Maybe you and this person have a similar backstory. Maybe you have both like experienced the same thing, and not in a way that like throwing shade, but like seeing this person be exactly where you left them. It kind of does something for your self-esteem, for the simple fact that it's like, there's two things. The first thing I'm seeing is like, I went through the same thing and look at where I am, not like trying to shit on them, but just like, wow, like I should give myself more grace. I should give myself more credit. Like, I see that some of the things I've been through in life really can destroy a person, and I'm really strong and I'm really resilient, right? So that's the first thing that I'm seeing. But the second thing that I'm seeing is that as you're looking at this person's situation, or you're kind of assessing what's going on, you're feeling a lot more attractive. I think the hard part with this connection, what I was seeing in the back of the deck, is like this person drained so much from you that while you were with them, you started to feel like you weren't good enough, or like your efforts weren't good enough. And so like when your energy becomes so intertwined with another person, it's kind of hard to like tell where they stop and you begin. You know what I mean? And so having this like distance between the two of you, it's actually been really good for you, because you've been able to look at the situation and see like, what role did I play? What did I honestly contribute? Where am I at with all of my efforts? Like when I stopped efforting for this person, right? And I started putting that into my own life. Look at all the ground I've covered. Look at how much distance is now between where I was and where I am today, based on me pulling my energy back, right? And so it's almost like giving you kind of this new outlook on yourself, in a way of like, my actions do matter. This person, they're like kind of a bottomless pit in a lot of ways. Like no matter what you do, it felt like it wasn't enough. No matter what you do, it felt like it didn't matter. Whereas in reality, like as you're being able to see, the efforts that you've been efforting or whatever, right? Like you're able to see how much your actions really do matter. And so that's making you feel very good about yourself. It's making you feel very attractive. It's making you feel like you're a catch. You have a lot of really great qualities. And I think that when you're with this person, the hard part is like when you're putting in so much work into trying to rehabilitate somebody who doesn't want to be healed. It is a very disappointing situation, right? And it is very easy to make it about yourself and think like, well, if I was better, or if I was more, if I had more, this person would feel better. But honestly, it's not your job, right? It's not your problem. And when you first met this person, or when you got into this situation, you had no idea like the depth of where they were at. You know what I mean? So I think it's very good that you're moving into a space of like patting yourself on the back for how you've been showing up, right? It's like you're finally being able to see like, wow, I do a lot, 10 of Pentacles coming out for how this will affect you. So it's almost like this is giving you the self-esteem to date again. If you've been like trying to heal, from this situation, this is giving you the self-esteem to feel like you really could have an excellent partner. In the past, maybe you settled for people who you felt like needed you, or were like damaged in some way that you could like fix them, heal them, and that like that would inspire loyalty in that person. And that comes from having insecurity, that comes from feeling like I'm not enough unless I'm doing a thing, unless I'm serving a purpose in this person's life. And so now that you see like you're enough regardless, you are looking at commitment differently. You know, it's almost like you're getting kind of excited about the idea of having a relationship again. Now, I'm not personally feeling like it's with whoever this is, right? What I'm seeing here is more like you putting the effort into figuring out the dynamic of co-parenting, or figuring out like what happens next in this situation that we have to be in for however long, right? Like if you're still on the lease or whatever. But I'm not really seeing you wanting to go after this person. I do see you looking at a commitment though. So let's see what that's about. Okay. Yeah. Here's the hard part is like, because this person hasn't really done a whole lot, you're understanding that if you try to like reestablish something with them, it would knock you back out of alignment with yourself. And you've worked really hard to get where you are now, you know? So I don't see you wanting to commit to this particular person. If anything, it's possible that maybe you've been speaking to someone else while you were on this break or on this separation, and you could have felt hesitant about like going all in with that person because A, you got to figure out what's going on with this situation still, but B, you just didn't feel good. You know what I mean? Maybe you felt like that person, this new person, had more than you were, they were better than you were. You know what I mean? Like you were still so depleted and like out of alignment with yourself that it seems like maybe you were hesitating on like going all in this other relationship that I'm seeing in your life. 5 of Cups reversed. Yeah, so here's the thing. Whatever this person is showing you when you're having kind of like this parlay where you're like coming to terms and talking it out, you're realizing that they weren't the end all. You know what I mean? Like they weren't even what you deserve, let alone they were like so far away from what you actually wanted, you know? And so it's almost like you feeling blessed that you're gaining this perspective, because I think for a period of time you thought about what it would be like to try to like save this relationship or put the family back together or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Or like, how can I incorporate this person into my life? Maybe if I gave more, maybe if I was more understanding. Whereas now you're like, this person has done me a favor. You know, I wanted so bad for this person to get better. I wanted so bad for this person to change. But now that I'm coming back into this person's space and I'm able to see who they are and what they're about, I'm realizing that like they did me a favor, because in the time we've been apart, like they still don't have it together. You know, how many more years, how much more time. So the nice part is like this situation, it gives you the freedom to start doing something new and to like feel really good about it and not have regret of like, was this my person? You know, because it feels like, you know, after this situation happens that this is not your person. You know, if you're doing 80 and they're doing 20, and then they've even lost you and they're still doing 20, it's like you're just not it. You're not what I want. The person that I want to be with is going to go hard for me. You know, the person I want to be with isn't even going to put us in situations where they could possibly lose me, right? So this is very good. Your opportunity is the Tower, 6 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 9 of Cups. Okay, so remember back when I was saying like in the back of the deck, there was that person that it feels like you were in love with, right? And it didn't work. And then I was saying that it seems like the person that you've been dealing with is also kind of going through that same thing. This situation has actually, or it will be, like opening your eyes to the thought that the person from your past, you know, whoever before this person, that's your soulmate. Okay, that's what you're going to be having kind of this epiphany of like, why do I keep putting so much work into something that isn't even like a good fit for me when all this time I've had this person back here, you know, way back. This is like a long time ago or however long ago. But it's like all this time I've known the person that I'm supposed to be with, but I've been too afraid. You know what I mean? So like why am I putting work into all these people and creating all these new like karmic ties and different paths and all this stuff when if I just would get out of my head about whatever this old connection is, I could actually have the person I want. I could stop all the pain that I'm in. You know what I mean? Like, it's interesting because it's almost like you manifested someone that was living in a place in their life that you needed to revisit in your own life, right? If this is somebody who was always like thinking about the one that got away and so they couldn't function and they couldn't do and, you know, they self-medicated, like you actually manifested that person into your life so that you would start thinking about the one that got away, not so that you would work harder to fix this person, right? This was so that you could like see on a much grander scale the mirror of like what you're hiding from yourself. You get what I'm saying? Because it seems like there's somebody in this that you've packed away and decided that it could never work, or that maybe you could never be public with this person, or that it would cause a lot of problems between like family members. Maybe this is someone you dated in the past and your family didn't like this person, or maybe they were just like so different than what people thought you should be with, right? That it felt like you could never like solidify a relationship with this person, because you were afraid of like your reputation or of what people would say, or losing people that say they care about you. And like what I'll say about that is if people care about you, they're going to want you to be happy. They're not going to care about who you choose to spend your life with, as long as that person treats you with kindness and respect, right? Like obviously if you're thinking about going back to somebody who's like beating you or something, your family's not going to approve of that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not seeing that here. This is just more like you being worried about what people would think, and not ever investing in this situation because you were afraid of how people would judge you or perceive you, you know. And it could be because this looks like this was a really long time ago, kind of like the person who came out in the beginning of the spread where they're like stuck in something from a really long time ago. It could be that this person in the past was like really non-committal, or maybe they went to jail when they were really young, or maybe like they made some poor life decisions, because this looks like it was like 7 years ago. Like this looks like something that was like a long time ago, right? For some of you, this is like 25 years ago. Like this is somebody, they made poor choices when they were younger, and that's when you knew this person, right? And so you were in love with this person, but because of the life that they were choosing for themselves, you were afraid of what other people would say, you know, and so you try to like go do something different. You get what I mean? Which makes sense, because if you're young and you're thinking about your future and you're looking at this person over here and, you know, they're drinking or gambling or whatever, cheating, not wanting to commit, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff. This person has their own stuff that they were dealing with when you met them that was causing them to act out. For a lot of you, whoever this was, they were looking for like a community. They were looking for some kind of validation from like a group. They wanted to belong to a group. And it seems like their family structure really did a number on them. Okay. And so they were kind of going on this journey to find themselves. Unfortunately, it led them to some like dark places, right? And so what I'm seeing here is that this happened so long ago that it's very possible that now that person is not who they used to be, but just the thought of going back to that person, because it seems like the two of you have not, there's distance here. So maybe they moved far away, maybe they did 25 years in prison. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like this person has been gone from your life for so long that it's almost like if they came back into your life now, everybody in your life only knows what they heard about that person all that time ago. And so you feel like it would be the same. You know what I mean? Like if somebody like say, for example, they cheated on you when you were dating in like high school or something, right? You're then like 10 years go by and you reconnect with this person and you're hitting it off and you're like, man, this could actually work. The hard part is, how do you introduce that person back into like your friend circle or your family or wherever you are, when the last thing those people remember is like, he broke your heart or she cheated on you or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So there's kind of this epiphany from this situation up here of like, wow, I actually let my person get away. But how could I even begin to like incorporate them back into my life after so much time has gone by? Maybe I care too much what other people think. Another thing that I'm seeing is the Hierophant being your obstacle. So this person that it seems like you're kind of thinking about and reminiscing on, they might already be somewhere else. They might already be with someone else. And so that would be quite a problem. For others of you, your person is like locked up, and so you couldn't physically be in their space. And also, this person up here that like is really stuck in the past, somehow they are now like your family. So it seems like maybe you had children with this person, right? Or there's something that like has made them kind of a permanent fixture in your life. And so the hard part is like, say you go off with this person that you've known all this time and you get married, how is that going to affect this situation up here? Because it almost looks like to me, this person would try to accuse you of like, oh, you've been with so-and-so all this time, and that's why you broke up with me. You get what I'm saying? When in reality, it doesn't look like that's the case. You know, this is somebody that was probably always in your heart and in your mind, but you didn't see this person. Like the whole time you were with this person up here, you never saw whoever this soulmate was, right? You may have thought about them or whatever, but it never came to the point where you could actually like physically be in one another's space. And so that's another thing that you'll have to like kind of think about is, how do you want this person to perceive you up here? Like I see that's weighing heavy on your mind, because maybe this person's family is involved in your life, or maybe you've met them. Like obviously you have kids with somebody, or you've lived with somebody, like you know who they hang out with, you know who they're related to. And so that's another thing that's like, wow, so are all these people going to think all this time that I was with this old person? Or they're going to be like, wow, they sure moved on quick. Or are you sure those are even your kids? You get what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like this whole big can of worms, because you have this life up here with this person that can't really get it together, that you're not really with, but you're still kind of stuck to. And so I see that being an obstacle for you in the next few weeks. Now, something you may want to consider: 8 of Wands in the reverse, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Pentacles reversed, the Magician reversed. All right. So, there's a few things here. The first thing is like, going back to what I said, anybody who really loves you is going to be supportive of your choices. You get what I'm saying? It might be time to start pruning the bush that is your surroundings, your social life, your whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because like, this is kind of a pivotal moment for you, and there's going to be people that don't get it, but it's almost like you're supposed to be cutting those people out, because it's showing you kind of like the snakes in the grass or the toxicity in your life, right? Like if you told your friend, hey, I'm really thinking about reconnecting with so-and-so from high school, do you remember him? And they're like, oh girl, why would you do that? Or hey dude, why would you do that? Don't you see this person up here that, you know, you could be with? It's so sad and does nothing. Like, that's the person for you, right? Like, why would you keep a friend that wants to see you suffer? Why would you keep a friend that wants to see you fail? You get what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of like energy of you putting stock into what other people think, when in reality, this is an opportunity for you to see like who really is ride or die, and who really is like, oh, if that's what you want, I support you. Like, yeah, people grow, people change, it's all good, I'm glad you reconnected. Or you get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of time for you to start standing up for what you want, holding on to what you want. I think there's a real fear of this past person too, not because they're like scary or dangerous, but because you know that this person, like once you're with them, you would never be with anyone else. And so maybe the two of you always kind of like never locked it in because you both had that fear of commitment or that fear of missing out. Like we're too young to like really act on this feeling because I think we would be together forever and there's a whole world out there. You know what I'm saying? And so like that's something to consider too, is like, have you seen all there is to see? Is it time for you to look back at this? And it kind of feels like it is with the Eight of Wands in the reverse, because you've hit the end of the road, right? Like you've seen all there is to see. And if anything, it's almost like this person that was so sad and living in the past, they actually helped to bring you full circle back to like this space of, wow, you know what? I've been out, I've done, I've seen, I saw, and like I always come back to this person like in my mind. You know what I mean? So that's just something to consider. Your advice is the Five of Swords. So here's the difficulty is like maybe you have a really hard time putting yourself first. You know, there's kind of this fear of like losing your supporters or losing the people you love. But your advice is actually to put yourself first, because this person in the Five of Swords, it's like they're at a competition and they're the best at the competition. You get what I'm saying? And so people are angry and people leave, whatever, you know, and maybe you lose a couple of friends because you're shining or you're taking pictures with somebody they don't really like, or you get what I'm saying? But it's the energy of like you being willing to put yourself first and do what's right for you. In this competition of the Five of Swords, the winner is not sitting there being like, well, all these people practice so hard, I guess I should probably go easy on them because it's not really fair that I'm better at this than them, even though I've practiced every day of my life since, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's not what this is. This is not you considering what everybody else thinks you should be doing and then being like, well, my aunt would feel this or my uncle, like, it's not their life. You get what I'm saying? Like, if they have a problem with what you're doing, they probably need to get a life. You get what I'm saying? So that's kind of what the advice for you is with the Five of Swords is, so what? So what if people don't understand your relationship, or so what if people are butthurt or they leave? At the end of the day, you're the one that has to decide, do you want to keep creating these karmic situations with people that are going to mirror and reflect back to you what you need to see on a really big scale that causes you to waste your time, you know, pour energy into like a black pit and then always feel like you're not enough, right? Because you can't rehabilitate these super broken people. But at the end of the day, like you could put that same energy into this and be happy. You know what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying is like the person that you're thinking about, they're having a very similar experience that you're having. Okay. When I saw that Hierophant, it was clarified by the Emperor in reverse, Knight of Swords in reverse. So this person, whoever they are, wherever they are, whoever they're doing it with, they don't even want to be there. You know what I mean? Like they would leave in a heartbeat if they thought they could have an opportunity to be with you. And maybe that's another thing with the Five of Swords where you're like, man, well, I don't want the love of my life to leave their kid's mom because of me. Like I had my chance with that person back when I was 17 and I didn't take it. You get what I'm saying? Like you can't live your life making all these like, oh, well, this person over here, they married them. Like, yes, they did marry them, but they're miserable. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's unfair to stay in a marriage that you don't want to be in. It's unfair to the person you're married to. Like, you think that person is having a good time? You know what I'm saying? Like, dealing with the person that they're not meant to be with, feeling like they're never enough for that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, when two people stay in a relationship for the wrong reasons, neither of them are happy. You know, it's best to just be like, look, this isn't working for either of us. You deserve every happiness that I can't give you because I'm not the person for you. You know what I'm saying? I just realized my person's over here and I'm really sorry and this really sucks. But that means that you're not with the person you're meant to be with. And so somewhere out there, someone is looking for you, right? And then that person's alone because I'm keeping you to myself because I'm too scared to do a very difficult thing. And that's not fair to you because you could be getting all the love that you deserve that I am never going to give you because we're not a match, right? Like, it's not your responsibility. If anything, being honest about your feelings to whoever this is, you don't have to act on them. You don't have to make this person, cheat or do something weird, but telling them like, hey, this is where I'm at because they feel the same way. You know what I mean? And then like you can let this sad person up here go back to whoever they're crying over, and the person that you're really in love with, whoever they're with, they can find the person that's gonna actually love them back. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like try to seduce this person, but just maybe start by like being honest, right? Because once the discussion happens, it can set the wheels in motion for everybody to end up with the person that they're meant to be with instead of staying in like weird, toxic, crappy relationships that are unfulfilling. You get what I mean? I hope I explained that well. I'm not saying like go off and break up a happy home, but what I'm seeing here is like nobody's happy, right? Everybody in every equation feels like they're with the wrong person, and so it's just that one person that needs to say like, hey, I don't care what other people think. Like, let's figure this out, or at least know that this is how I feel so that you can figure out what you want to do. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to take the first step here. And it looks like that person is supposed to be you. All right. New beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. Bottom of the deck, freedom. There's nothing stopping you. The path is clear if you want it to be. So, Aquarius, it looks like you got the green light on this. I think it's time for you to maybe go after what it is that you want, in a way that's respectful to everybody involved, obviously. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you don't, you're going to keep creating these situations. The person that loves you, they're going to keep creating weird situations. And it really is time to just kind of have the freedom to choose the beginning that you want, right? Like, what do you dream of? If you dream of this person, to hell with what everybody else thinks. It's not their business because at the end of the day, it's your life. All right, Aquarius, this has been your reading. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will speak to you again soon. But in the meantime, take very good care of yourselves. Bye.